Every family has a historian, and most of us don't realize it until the archive is gone. She sat in that kitchen chair, cup of tea going cold, voice threading through decades you'd never lived, and somewhere between the dishes and your phone screen, you stop listening. Imagine you're 9 years old again, sprawled on the living room floor while your mom talks about a town she grew up in, a name you've never heard, a cousin whose photograph is tucked behind the clock on the mantle. You probably nodded, maybe said, mm-hmm, and drifted back into whatever world felt more urgent than hers. How many times did she start a sentence with, "When I was your age," before you finished it for her in your own head and tuned out? We thought we knew the punchline, so we skipped the story, except the punchline was never the point. Here's what nobody tells you about a mother's stories. They aren't just memories. They are the entire operating manual for who you are. The fear she carried, the resilience she built, the love she learned to give it was all encoded in those anecdotes you waved away like smoke. She probably told you about her first heartbreak, her mother's hands, the year everything went wrong, and somehow she made it through anyway. And you were physically present for every word, which is almost worse than not being there at all. Grief has this cruel little trick where it replays every moment you were distracted. You'll be standing in a grocery store aisle and suddenly remember the afternoon she tried to tell you about her childhood home burning down, and you were texting, and she just quietly stopped talking. There's an entire world that existed before you were born, her world, and you were the one person she most wanted to walk through it with her. She chose you as the witness to her life, and most of us handed that honor back without realizing what we were returning. Think about the stories themselves, not just their content, but their texture. The way she'd laugh before getting to the funny part, the way her voice dropped when something still hurt, the way she'd pause and look out the window like she was watching it happen again right then. Those pauses were full of something. Whole rooms of feeling that you could have stepped inside if you just asked one more question, leaned in one more inch, put down whatever was in your hands. We live in this absurd era where we document everything, every meal, every sunset, every forgettable Tuesday, and yet the most irreplaceable archive in our lives played out in real time, and most of us hit mute. The stories of the woman who made you exist were considered less pressing than a notification. Here's the thing grief teaches you that nothing else can. Her stories were never really about the past. They were about her trying to make sure some essential part of herself could live inside you after she couldn't. Every time she told you about her mother, she was teaching you how to love. Every time she described a hard season she survived, she was handing you a tool for when your own hard seasons came. You just didn't know you were in a classroom. And now you catch yourself trying to reconstruct her from the fragments you held onto a phrase she used, a song she hummed in the kitchen, the particular way she said your name when she was proud of you. You're an archaeologist now, sifting through what's left, wishing you'd built a larger collection. The people who still have their moms, and maybe some of you reading this know who you are sitting on something that cannot be replaced, restored, or recovered once it's gone. No recording, no photograph, no journal entry is quite the same as sitting in the same room and saying, "Tell me more." Ask her about the year before you were born. Ask her what she was afraid of at 20. Ask her what she wishes she had done differently. And then stay for the answer even when it surprises you or makes you uncomfortable, especially then. Because here's what the grief communities and the therapists and the late night journal entries all eventually confirm. It's not the big milestones we mourn missing. It's the ordinary Tuesdays we didn't think were worth paying attention to. She was extraordinary in all the ways that are invisible until they're absent. The warmth that filled a room, the specific cadence of her worry, the laugh that you could pick out of a crowd, those weren't background details, they were the whole painting. So yes, we all carry this regret, this version of it, or something like it because we were human and distracted and we assumed there was more time, because there is always supposed to be more time. The tragedy isn't that we were careless, it's that we didn't know we were in the most important conversation of our lives while it was happening. Her stories didn't die with her, not entirely. They live in the things you do without knowing why, in the fears that feel inherited, in the moments of unexpected strength that seem to come from somewhere outside yourself. She found a way in, even through the closed doors. But oh, what you would give to sit across from her one more time, tea going cold, no phone in your hand, and say, "Mom, tell me that one again. I want to hear the whole thing."